Hey there, Coastal Bend. Memorial Day weekend, it is right around the corner. And our temperatures are trending rather warm. The average high as of today is 88 degrees. We're going to be 4 degrees above that. And there's very little change day to day. We're talking highs in the upper 70s, lows in the upper 70s. Wouldn't that be nice to have highs in the upper 70s? Lows in the upper 70s and highs in the low 90s. Now we are still tracking a possible front. Right now it's looking like it may stall, and it is moving a little bit slower than we once expected. A big takeaway from this morning's forecast is it will be windy through the weekend. Wind is going to make conditions choppy on the water. Additionally, we are talking higher wave action, a chance for some coastal flooding, and that could limit parking on the beach at high tide. So heading into tomorrow, we'll really break down the beach forecast, but today we're just going to go into a little bit of the nuts and bolts in the generic forecast and our opportunity for rain that we have ahead. Good morning. The time now is 10:05, and I'm meteorologist Carly Smith. Thank you for joining this live update. We're just going to get right on started. We talked about this graphic, Memorial Day. Woohoo! So let's take a look at our current weather pattern. So we have drier air that's now starting to work in a bit because we're in a ridge. So there's an area of low pressure to our south that is set up kind of in between this high pressure ridge that's really spanning through Mexico and additionally into the Gulf. You could see the storms. So there were storms yesterday. Most of them stayed further south toward the valley, and then even into Mexico. So we really didn't see much in the way of rainfall here in the coastal bend yesterday, even for areas like Hebronville and additionally Brooks County. That was the target zone. Corpus Christi was never supposed to get a lot of rain yesterday. It was always areas south of Corpus Christi. And so we did get a little bit of rain in Jim Hogg County. It wasn't much. Most of the rain stayed south. That's that low that's in between these two areas of high pressure. It's actually moved a little bit more into the Gulf now as we speak, and that's why our cloud coverage is clearing out across the area, which is great. Here's a look at what to expect. So these high pressures are going to kind of shift. We're going to stay in a bit more of a ridge pattern. That low is still going to kind of hang out in the upper levels of the atmosphere. I don't anticipate much activity from that at all. Now, yes, there may be some storm energy, but for the most part, any storm action is going to stay to our north these next couple of days. We're going to be under the influence of a bit of a high pressure ridge through Saturday. As we head into Sunday, we're watching this low that kind of breaks off the main low over the Pacific Northwest, or actually kind of in that Gulf area, that bend of Alaska. And what I want to point out is this is a piece of energy over Las Vegas that broke off that larger low, and it will track its way across Texas. And this is going to help us see the chance of a cold front. Now, this piece of energy overall weakens. It doesn't look like it stays a surface low for long, but we see a low develop to our north that still is going to try to push a cold front south. However, that's not the surface. This is all the upper level energy. And then you can see we stay a bit unsettled into next week. However, we don't have a bunch of big up and down swings in which direction our winds are coming from in the upper levels. So our temperatures really are looking pretty static. They may drop a little bit next week, but it doesn't look like much. Let's talk rain. We do have a chance today through Wednesday. Most of this is going to come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's really not a lot for the coastal bend. We'll be lucky to get a ½ inch. It's looking isolated to scattered. Not much rain is anticipated for us. More rain. If you have travel plans to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, they're expected to see more rain, including starting today. There is a slight risk of severe weather across North Texas and the Red River Valley. San Angelo and areas outside of that main risk area have a marginal risk of severe weather. So that's level 1 and level 2, which means isolated to widely scattered storms could produce some high wind gusts, and additionally hail is one of the biggest threats from this. There's going to be a lot of Cape convective available potential energy that may allow for those thunderstorms to have strong updrafts that would produce hail in this case. So hail, the biggest concern. Otherwise, there is a very low tornado risk, and this is all to our north. This is just a heads up if you have travel plans heading into the holiday weekend. More opportunity for strong to severe weather, marginal level 1 risk, mostly across West Texas as we head into Friday and then areas into Oklahoma. Similar situation on Saturday. It's mostly the Texas Panhandle and Oklahoma City that has the risk of severe weather into Saturday. So let's talk about what's happening. This warm front lifted north, and it's along this warm front we're watching that severe weather risk. Now, yes, there could be a few isolated cells that develop from Corpus Christi through to Lubbock, but for the most part, I'm not confident in that. There's no boundary that those storms would develop on, and so I'm not confident in that. But just a heads up, we are warm and humid, we're unstable, so if there is some sort of additional boost of energy, whether that's in the mid to upper levels from that storm vorticity, we could see a spotty storm. B County, Live Oak County have the best chance of seeing that storm. I got excited, I clicked to the wrong button. So B, Live Oak County, best chance of seeing any rain, and that's still a very, very, very minimal risk. Some cluster of thunderstorms may develop as we head into Thursday night and Friday morning. They would weaken as they approach the coastal bend. Not really concerned with those either. Now, if you have plans to head to San Antonio, you may be impacted by these storms, so heads up. But they're not anticipated to be severe. They could produce some gusty winds, but it shouldn't be 60-mile-per-hour plus winds. Taking a look at Friday afternoon, you see a few storms developing mostly in the San Angelo area. Then Saturday and Sunday, it's mostly Oklahoma City. Now, Sunday night into Monday morning, we see the front dipping across Texas. That would provide some thunderstorm action across the Red River Valley into Dallas. Monday, 1:30, the front is approaching San Antonio. The big difference between today and yesterday, this front does look to be stalling a bit. So it's kind of moving a little bit slower than previous model runs. What that means is we may stay rain-free for Memorial Day, which would be great. But as the front slides south and stalls, this is going to keep us in the potential of an unsettled weather pattern that could lead to some rain next week. But I want to point out the most shift in our wind that we would get is an easterly wind, and right now only the European model is in on that. The GFS keeps us with winds out of the southeast, so maybe east-southeast, but for the most part, the GFS not sold on this front. The Euro a little bit more sold, but still it looks like it stalls. That Euro is what I just showed you. I don't see it going all the way south through the coastal bend and giving us much relief from our heat and humidity. You can see humidity falls a little bit, but I don't anticipate it to be much. What that means is heat index values actually may fall several degrees. We're talking 4-degree difference between Monday and Tuesday for your feels like temperature, but heat is going to be the biggest weather-related impact for the holiday weekend. We're talking 105 for your heat index Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You've got to stay hydrated if you are doing outdoor activities, even just grilling. Make sure you're drinking the water and another beverage if that's your choice, but water is going to be so important. So 105 can be dangerous. It's not the worst conditions for us here in South Texas. 110 is when our heat advisory criteria is. 115 is our excessive heat warning criteria. So we're nowhere near that, but we are still excessively hot. This is above normal for this time of year, so just be cautious. Drink a lot of water, have a safe holiday, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So anyway, now let's take a look at that 7-day forecast, and this is going to do it for this live weather update. Thanks again for watching 3 News. Don't forget we are streaming on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. All you have to do is search the App Store for 3 News Plus, and it is a free download. You don't have to pay a thing to watch local news on your streaming platforms.